Hello, Maddie here. This week, I'm going to talk about one of my all-time favorite books, and that is The Host by Stephenie Meyer. Don't judge it because it's written by the same person that wrote Twilight. I have read all the Twilight books. I read them when I was a freshman in high school. I remember throwing my book across the room because I thought Bella was so stupid. Don't judge the book based on that. The Host, there's a book, there's also a movie. I'll talk about that a teeny bit. It's the idea that there is this race, alien race from a whole other planet that can only live on other planets in a host body. Take over planets, but they don't actually change anything or do anything. They just start inhabiting the bodies of whatever, intelligent life form there is on that planet. So on Earth, obviously, they are inhabiting humans. And the premise is a alien, parasite, caterpillar, things she is compared to. She is put into a host body of a girl who's been on the run for years and years and years with her brother, and it's a resistant host. So typically, the human's consciousness kind of just fades away or is gone altogether once the host is put in that body. But basically, the strong-willed ones don't. And so it's about basically how they affect one another, how the host is trying to, so her name is Wanderer, because she's lived on many planets. Read the book to find out more about her name. It's so fascinating. Wanderer is put into Melanie's body, and it's them reconciling, Melanie reconciling the fact that she has gotten caught, and Wanderer reconciling the fact that this body is not her own the way she is used to on her other planets that she's been to, and how they affect one another, because they're very different people. Wanderer is a very peaceful, soft-spoken individual, and Melanie is very brazen, strong-headed, angry, which makes sense, seeing as the lives they've lived. With that being the premise, I understand why people wouldn't be interested, because you have things like a love square, because you've got two girls in one body, and then you've got a guy that's interested in the human girl, and then you've got a guy that's interested in the alien girl, and it's a lot. But I absolutely adore this book for many reasons. I think it explores humanity in a way that I appreciate. Because even though Wanderer is not human, she is human. She understands them. And Melanie learns to understand that there are different points of view, that there are different ways of thinking. There are different courses of action based on the things that come into your life. And it's so good. They become the best of friends. The book's very, very good. It will make you cry. Oh, I always forget about it. And then there's a couple of things that just make you start crying super fast and you aren't expecting them. And I forget every time. And I have very vivid memories of being at work reading this and trying not to show that I was crying. The Host. So the idea being you can tell when somebody's been inhabited because they've got this kind of silver ring around their eye that even reflects if you do put light in their eyes. So that's how you know somebody is inhabited or not. And yeah, look at this is a big book. It's a big book with the epilogue. It is 619 pages. The epilogue's amazing. Don't skip it. It resolves so many things. So not only is it a super weird premise, it's not an easy read. It's not quick. It's not light. It will put you through all of the emotions, but those emotions are so beautiful. And that's the whole point of the book. Wanderer comes to love being a human, love being in this world, because she's experiencing emotions that she has never even begun to touch at all. And all these other species, none of them could feel this range that humans can feel. And she has moments of this is super frustrating. Why am I reacting the way I'm reacting? And then she has these moments of, This is such a beautiful experience. This is a beautiful moment of humanity that I wouldn't have gotten to experience anywhere else. It's, the longest book kind of in my really small group of books that get reread probably at least once a year. And because it's so long and there's so much, I honestly will not be able to summarize it any more than I already have in this video. But I want to highlight a few things. Sorry, Hinata's trying to rub up against everything like he does. One, like I said, I absolutely love Wanderer. I love her love interest, Ian. My beef with the movie in that regard is that in the movie, he's like tan and blonde hair. And in the book, he's like pale with like jet black hair with like piercing blue eyes. And the movie, he's like completely different. He's like opposite of that. And he's not unattractive in the movie. He's just not the Ian from the book, which is annoying. My beef with the movie is the same beef I have with a lot of other movies, books that are translated to movies. The movie, you still get to all the big plot points, but you get there by a different route. Because, it's like you hit all these main things, but it doesn't quite happen the way that it happens in the book. So I honestly do really enjoy that movie, especially when I just need a little bit to be in that world. I love the movie. But I've gotten to the point where I also kind of have moments earmarked that I'll go back and I'll just re-listen like on audiobook to like specific chapters. Because it's so good. It's so good. I don't want to be too scatterbrained, but I know that that's what's happening because I want to just like, we're flip-flopping. Hopefully you will just, oh my gosh, boys, calm down. Cats are fighting. Hopefully, if you've made it to this point in the video, I hope that this video and with all my videos, even if I am scatterbrained, even if I'm all over the place, it is because I genuinely have so much I want to say, so much that I'm feeling, so much I'm trying to convey that my thoughts don't work in a straight line. They never work in a straight line. My thoughts are never linear, as much as we would like them to be. So my hope would be that if you've found this movie or if you are my family members that I'm forcing to watch this video, that you wouldn't be dissuaded, that you wouldn't be turned off by my jumping all over the place-ness. So we just talk as things come into our heads. And the thought that made me think, I hope you stay, even though I'm all over the place. The thought that triggered that spiel is the first, like, fourth, maybe even third of the book is a little bit hard to get through. It is so much world building, alien world and the human world. It is set up. But it is so important. Having now read it a minimum of 6 times, it's probably closer to 10. I will skip through that part, but that's because I've read it so many times and I know what happens. I know what I'm getting through. I know why it's important when you're first reading this book. It's like every good show. You have to get through the first, my little sister says, I think the first 5 episodes of any show, they're not good, but you have to get through them to get to when the show gets good. And it's so true. With books also. Books can only be amazing if you're willing to discover this world. If you're willing to meet these characters. If you're not willing to do that, then why would you pick up any book ever? Why would you watch any show, watch any movie, hear any story told in any form? If you're not willing to understand the background. If you've read it multiple times, skip that part if it bores you. If you haven't read it, you have to read it or the rest of the book won't make sense. You know, like I said, Stephenie Meyer's gotten a little bit of a bad rep because of Twilight, but her descriptions in this book are amazing. I can, even now, there are scenes I can picture in my head, and not even scenes that are happening, but it's like, I know the layout of so many just rooms and areas that are in this book. I can picture them so vividly. Her descriptions are very much on purpose. It's, mental world building and understanding why characters are the way that they are, but it's literal physical world building because there are lots of moments in this book that you need to understand the layout of the room, the area. I don't want to give too much away by saying too much, but you have to understand the physical layout for their actions to make sense. But she describes it all so well that that's not difficult to do. You don't even realizing you're building it in your head until, like I said, you're really you're envisioning the scenes as they happen. And you didn't even know that you were building a world until it was built. That is the mark of a great author. An author that can write a book that is 619 pages and all of it is relevant. Books that are this long typically have sections that you're like, this did not do anything, did not add anything. My example is, my husband's not gonna like this. Well, maybe he will. I don't know. We're reading Aragon together. And there's a chapter in Aragon, probably like a third of the way through the first book. It's just like them traveling through like a windstorm. That's the entire chapter. Nothing happens during that. They don't lose anything, gain anything. Literally nothing happens except for that they like experience this like windstorm. And I got to the end and I was like, that was one of the most pointless things. And it frustrates me when authors include those because I understand you have this world you want to build, but when you include stuff that it doesn't have to be like, this is necessary for you to understand the story, but it needs to serve a purpose. There needs to be a point, a reason why it's included. Because if everything was included, the book would be like 1,000,000 pages long because it would go through sleeping and waking up and eating and, walking around, breathing, existing. But we don't need all of those details. We need the details that matter. We need the moments that matter, the moments that you come out on the other side thinking something different or feeling something different or understanding something better or being more confused. But you needed that moment to get there. And she writes a book that is 619 pages. And I honestly cannot think of a moment that could be cut. Not all of the moments are like the most profound, but they all serve a purpose. And to write a book this long and for them to all matter, that's the mark of a great author, of a great book. That it is 619 pages, and I've reread it at least half a dozen times, probably more than that. I'm a reader. I'm an avid reader. I'm an avid rereader. But a lot of the books that I reread are nowhere near that long. It's a lot. But I absolutely love it every single time. I just fall back in love with these characters that I never fell out of love with to begin with. But it's like remembering what it feels like to feel the rain on your skin. It's rediscovering what it feels like to have, a breeze go across your face. It's remembering how great it feels to have your hair brushed. It's not a thing you forgot, but when it happens, you remember just how nice it is, how good it feels. That's what this book does. That's what this book is to me, and why I love it so much. Part of the kind of joke of the whole book is that, Wanderer doesn't have a home. She's been to so many different planets. She's never settled anywhere. She doesn't have a home. But this book is home in so many different ways that you can think of that word. It is that thing. It's home in terms of the relationships there. It is home in terms of the security of feeling, the confidence of action. It is the reassurance and reaffirming of, right, I know this. I know these people. I know this place. I know it. I am comfortable here in every sense of the word. This book is that. And I read lots of cutesy books. I read lots of feel-good books. But most of them are, honestly, genuinely just that. You get to the end and you feel good. You feel warm and fuzzy inside, and it's great. But this book is so much deeper than that. It's been on my mind a lot. It is a book I am almost constantly thinking about, but because I know a lot of people haven't read it, I don't bring it up. I don't mention it very often because it's honestly a little unrelatable. It's an experience. It's a journey. It is a commitment. I don't share it with everybody. I understand that not that if I want to be heard, but if I want to genuinely engage with a person by mentioning things that are in no way relatable, that's not going to help the conversation along. That's not going to help, at least especially at the beginning, build a relationship and friendship, laying a foundation. You need to meet people where they are. You may not be a reader, but hey, you've probably read or watched, Pride and Prejudice, Lord of the Rings. We can find some common ground here, or even like The Martian. Great movie, way better book. The Host, great movie, way better book. This is a book that if I talk to you about The Host, that means that we have kind of passed the basic level of friendship, and I want to share my interests with you that are not easily accessible. If I get past classics and cutesy with you, it means you've gone past the first level of friendship. And that's what this video is. That's what I want. I want it to be, I've been doing videos for almost 6 months now, which is crazy. And we're past the first level. This was a lot of rambling, lots of thoughts on lots of things. But what I want to get out of it is you should read The Host. But we're in this. You guys are getting to know me better. We're getting past that first layer of friendship. So if you guys are still willing, I am going to keep making videos. I'm going to keep talking about books that make me feel all the things, make me think all the things, make me just want to talk to people about it. I'm going to keep doing that because I like doing it. It's really easy to be self-deprecating and being like, oh yeah, the only people that watch my videos are my siblings, which is fine because it's true. But I don't want to devalue this moment that I want to take the time to thank you. To thank you for being here, to thank you for listening, to have this book that I don't talk to that many people about, to have a place where I can talk about it. Because I want to talk about it, and I've wanted to talk about it for probably 8 years or something stupid like that. If you made this far in my video, thank you for being here. Please like, comment, subscribe, all those things. So I'd really appreciate it if you would do that. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Thank you for all those things. I'm just want to comment on my shirt. It says, "Stop apologizing for existing." It's a Try It Love on Her Arm shirt. I love it so much. I have it in 2 colors. I have very constantly wanted to apologize for existing, for taking up space. But this is my moment of not just not apologizing, but that it is willingly taking up space and just desiring that and wanting it, because so often I just want to make myself as small as possible. But this is a moment where I'm happy to take up space. I'm happy to be existing. For those of you that know me, we've come very far. We've come so far for me to be able to say those words out loud. Anyways, this is me not apologizing for existing, but being very proud to take up space. Being very excited to take up space. And there's so many places to go. There's so many books to read. There's so many things to talk about, and I am so excited. So, with all of that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you have a great night, great week, great weekend, great month, great year. I hope you have all of the greats because you're truly worthy. You are truly worthy and deserving of them. So until next time, bye.